In 2023, I started living off my dividend portfolio at the age of 37. It took me almost a decade of working and side hustling to get to that point where I could live off my dividend portfolio. If you're new to dividend investing or considering starting a dividend portfolio, I want to share with you some things that I wish I would have understood when I first started learning about dividend investing and started investing for my future. So this video, I'm going to share with you helpful resources for new dividend investors looking to start out here in 2025. I'm not going to tell you the answers to the question of how to start a dividend portfolio, but rather I'm going to help you to understand what questions you should be asking, and my goal is to help you understand how to think about this and not what to think. Something that helped me when I was a new dividend investor was asking the right questions. But more than that was, asking what questions have I not asked or considered yet? So you want to broaden your way of thinking and get outside of what may be your limited understanding of a topic so that you can expand your understanding. And that's the key word here, is focusing on understanding a topic. It all comes back to understanding. So I'm going to cover 5 topics, and in each of these topics, I'm going to provide you with additional resources and videos that you can consider to help broaden your understanding on each of these topics that will help you if you're a new dividend investor. The idea for making this video came from a subscriber of mine who was new to my channel and was asking for help to get started. They saw that I had hundreds of videos on the channel and they just didn't know where to start. And so I wrote her a very long email explaining a lot of what I talk about on my channel, and what I wrote in that email, I'm going to share some of those topics in this video today with all of you, because I believe that this video can be very helpful if you're a new dividend investor here in 2025, or if you've been investing for a while now. But I want you to feel free to share this video with your friends or family who you believe might be interested in learning more about dividend investing, because it's going to be really focusing on new dividend investors. So the first is understand why you are investing. Are you looking to buy your freedom and entirely live off of your investments in the future? Or are you simply looking for FU money so that you can have the option to quit a toxic job and create more opportunities for yourself and for your family? So it really comes down to understanding why you're investing. And once you understand why you're investing, you need to understand how your portfolio or investment strategy will get you there. And in order for that, you have to know what options are out there. When it comes to this, I see that there are 2 schools of thought. And the first is that you buy something low in hopes that in the future you can sell it for more than what you bought it for. That can be either, a stock, an ETF, it could be a rental property, a house, a commodity, whatever it is. The idea is you buy something today in hopes of in the future it will appreciate in value. And I'm not talking about a car, something that depreciates. I'm talking about an asset that will appreciate over time. That's the first school of thought. The second school of thought is that you can live off of something that generates an income. This could be in the form of interest from a savings account. It could be dividend income. It could be a rental property. Anything that is, your money is invested into something that is producing something and generating an income. Now, both of these schools of thought can work great. The question is, which is right for you? Now, this really comes down to investing as a whole, the different strategies when it comes to investing, but it really is important to understand why you're investing. And I've created videos on both of these topics that I just discussed. I'm going to leave a link to both of those videos in the description of this video so that you can dig a little bit deeper into both of these. The first video that I linked here is going to be on the stages of financial independence. Now, there's different things that you can focus on. If you're trying to, be a dividend investor, your goal is to generate income that you can one day live off of. And not everyone's goals and, ambitions are going to be the same. So understanding the different approaches that you could go after, are you looking to reach what's called fat fire, where you're just living off of your portfolio? Are you looking for something where, you're just looking for lean fire, where your investment portfolio will just cover your expenses and nothing more? So it's important to understand the different stages of what you're working towards. And another video here is going to be on why I chose dividend investing versus the 4% rule. And this comes down to exactly what I was just talking about, where you're living off of something versus the buy low, sell high, versus living off of something that generates an income. So those 2 videos will be in the description below that you can check out if you want to learn more on those topics. The second is understand your investment time horizon. This really comes down to understanding how compounding works. This is an area where I really didn't understand when I first started investing. I think if I would have understood this from the beginning in my early 20s, I could have grown my net worth almost double to that of what it is today. So understanding growth rates is incredibly important. Something that I also recommend is understanding the rule of 72, how quickly an investment is going to compound and grow. The main premise here is understanding the balance between your dividend yield today versus your dividend growth rate in the future. These two metrics are incredibly important and you need to understand both of them. The simple way of thinking about this is if you have a short-term time horizon, meaning that you plan to live off of your dividend portfolio in the near term, you want a higher starting yield today on your portfolio, which will generally come with a lower dividend growth rate in the future. It's kind of a trade-off. You get one or the other. And the reverse is the case if you have a long-term time horizon. To better understand this topic, I would recommend watching two videos that I've already created on my channel. The first is going to be the dividend growth matrix that I made a few months ago. In this video, I talk about understanding how to invest based off of your investment time horizons, and I give a few examples of different ETFs, different stocks with different time horizons, and I help you to understand how to think about this kind of like a target date fund. So this is really, really important if you're new to investing, so that can be incredibly helpful. I also made another video titled The Simple Path to Wealth with Dividend Investing based off of your time horizon, and I share a few different examples very similar to the dividend growth matrix, but I go and break it down by different time horizon, different buckets, and another really good resource if you're trying to understand how to invest based off of your investment time horizon, because I promise you, if you're in your early 20s, this is going to be fundamentally different than if you're in your late 40s, late 50s, 60s. You're going to be looking at this very differently, and it's important that you understand that from the get-go. The third here is understand the metrics that matter. When you're first starting out, going down this deep rabbit hole of information when it comes to investing and dividend investing, it can quickly become very overwhelming. Understand that there's going to be a lot of noise out there. The important thing is to focus on what really matters to you and your why and your specific situation. This includes all the dividend investing terminology, for example, the dividend CAGR or the dividend compound annual growth rate or the payout ratio. I made a video on this a few years ago where I break down all the main terms that you should be aware of when it comes to dividend investing. Now this video is going to be pretty beginner oriented. I'm talking about payout ratios, what is a REIT. So if you're really new to dividend investing, I think this will be a very helpful resource for you. If you're a little bit more advanced, this video you probably could skip, but it is a very valuable foundation that every dividend investor should have. So if you're new to this, I would highly recommend you check it out. Now, when it comes to metrics, I want to take just a moment and share with you about the sponsor of today's video, Snowball Analytics. Snowball Analytics is an all-in-one tool that helps you track everything around your dividend portfolio. The first thing that attracted me to Snowball Analytics is the ability to upload and connect your brokerage directly into Snowball Analytics. Once you've connected your brokerage and you've logged into your account, you're going to have a lot of different information accessible to you. One of the things that I love most about Snowball Analytics is their dashboard around the dividend metrics for your portfolio. It'll show you not only the yield, but your yield on cost for each individual holding, as well as your overall portfolio yield on cost. Another feature that I find very valuable is the dividend safety or rating scores that they have for your portfolio. You'll be able to see if your dividend is safe, and they use about 13 different metrics to analyze if the dividend is safe or not. One of the features that I use the most is the dividend calendar. You can see when your dividends are going to be paid. You can see how much is being paid each month. You can see the individual stock or ETF that is going to be paying you that dividend. I've negotiated with them that you're going to be able to get the very best discount possible. If you use my link in the description below, you'll be able to get 20% off. This is more than what they offer any other affiliate. The reason why I'm able to offer the best discount is because I requested that they pay me less so that I can offer more to you. So if you're interested in trying out Snowball Analytics, you can use my link in the description below. Thank you so much, Snowball Analytics, for sponsoring this video. The fourth thing here is understand your investment options. Now, there's quite a few things that can apply to this topic here. The first could be understanding taxes. Now, if you're here in the United States, you're going to have quite a few options. You're going to be able to invest in a taxable account. You're going to also have the option to invest into a 401k, Roth IRA. Now, if you're new to investing, that's probably going to be a little bit overwhelming, but just understand that you're going to have options and you're going to want to take the time to understand the implications of all of those different accounts. If you're young and first starting out, you probably don't think much about taxes, but I promise you, once you get closer to reaching your financial goals later in life, taxes will become a more tedious part of the equation. Now, it's a nice thing to have, working, not having to worry about taxes. Maybe you have low expenses, you're not making a lot of money. It's not going to matter as much. Once you get later in life and you start making more money, maybe you have a house, you have family, different things to consider, I just would recommend have this on your radar. You don't have to be an expert from day one, but you definitely do not want to neglect the topic of taxes. Now, I've made a few videos in the past here on the channel when it comes to taxes. This is obviously not the most attractive, sexiest topic here on YouTube, but I will say that it is very valuable and it's something that you should have on your radar. I made a few videos. I will link them in the description of this video. One of them is how you can pay zero taxes on your dividend income in early retirement in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. And no, I'm not talking about a Roth IRA, 401k. I'm talking about in a taxable account. So actually really, really cool. It's one of my favorite videos that I made on taxes. Another video that I made is how to invest in a Roth IRA for the long term. This is one of the more popular videos that I've made on the channel. I talk about how I invest in my Roth IRA and how it applies to my overall strategy. And I think it's worth a watch if you're interested in that. And then lastly, I made a video on the different investment accounts, a Roth IRA, HSA, taxable 401k, and how you can understand taxes. So if you're new to this, highly recommend you watch those and reference back to them. But yeah, good resources if you're a new dividend investor. And the last one here is understand that complexity is not your friend. Complexity is not your friend, and because something is complex does not mean that it is better. We have been led to believe that if something is simple and obvious, that it couldn't possibly be the right answer or be the right choice. I remember when I was in elementary school, a long time ago. I couldn't have been older than 10 years old at the time. I remember doing a math assignment and looking over the questions thinking to myself, this is so easy. The answer is obviously this or that there must be a trick hidden in it. This couldn't be real. There's got to be a trick to it. It couldn't possibly be so easy. From a very young age, I was led to believe, and many of you out there I'm sure are the same, that if something is too easy and simple, that it must be wrong, that it's too good to be true. Wall Street has manipulated the public into believing that only they are smart enough to invest or manage money. They've done this by creating the illusion that investing is this complex, ambiguous thing that only they can do and understand. The reality is, once you peel back the layers, investing is incredibly simple if you focus on keeping things simple instead of overcomplicating things and making it more difficult than it needs to be. I would encourage you to all research and learn about The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. I followed J.L. for many years and can say that he is a major inspiration for a lot of what I talk about on my channel. I've adopted what he says in his book, The Simple Path to Wealth, and I've applied what I've learned from him into my own strategy and call it the simple path to wealth with dividend investing. I do this by investing primarily in ETFs and follow the core and satellite approach to investing. I've made videos on this topic and believe that it would be very beneficial for you if you're just starting your journey as a new dividend investor here in 2025. This has been one of my most favorite topics that I've created here on my channel. I've been making these videos for a couple of years now, and it's really from inspiration from J.L. Collins, The Simple Path to Wealth with Dividend Investing. I've made a handful of videos on this topic. I will link a few of my favorite in the description. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you're new to my channel, I'd invite you to consider subscribing and checking out some of my other videos that I've made here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching.